Tonight, the skies over Moscow lit up like never before, explosions, fireballs, and chaos spreading across the Russian capital. Ukrainian drones have reportedly struck deep into Moscow's heart, turning the city into what eyewitnesses are calling a sea of fire. Sirens wailed, flames rose, and for the first time, the Kremlin's own backyard faced the kind of destruction Russia once unleashed on others. How did Ukraine pull this off? What kind of drones can fly hundreds of kilometers, bypass air defenses, and hit critical targets right inside Russia's most guarded region? And why is Putin said to be in complete shock over this latest attack? Stay tuned as we break down everything: the exterior impact, the internal systems, the performance, safety features, unique selling points, the cost of this war, and what it all means for the future of drone warfare. Welcome back to the channel, Future Force Skies and Skills. Please subscribe and like my videos. Today we're diving into a jaw-dropping review and breakdown of what's being called Putin in shock. Ukrainian drones turn Moscow into a sea of fire. This is not your typical tech review. It's a high-stakes geopolitical and military scenario being reported in real time. We'll treat it as though we're reviewing a product. In this case, the drone campaign and its impacts, covering exterior, interior, performance, safety features, unique selling points, price metaphorically, and wrap it up with a clear conclusion. Let's get into it. Let's start with the exterior. Picture the scene across the Moscow region. Lights flash, sirens wail, drones zip in the night sky, explosions ignite, fireballs rise over key infrastructure. Reports say that Ukrainian drones have struck power infrastructure near Moscow, for example in the town of Sergiev Posad, leaving parts of the district without power and registering explosions early in the morning. The headline, "Turn Moscow into a Sea of Fire," captures the dramatic visual: the skyline lit by orange glow, smoke plumes rising, defensive interceptors launching, and the sense that even the heart of Russia is now vulnerable. From the exterior viewpoint, this is a bold escalation. The drone strike campaign isn't just at the front lines anymore. It's inside the broader territory, symbolic and strategic. So the external look is powerful. Stark silhouettes of drones, nighttime strikes, fires in urban or suburban settings, infrastructure, power substations, airports, industrial sites exposed. That gives the context. The battlefield has expanded beyond the border into the capital's orbit. Now move into the interior. By interior, in our review metaphor, we refer to what's happening inside the system, how the drones are operated, how defenses respond, how the infrastructure suffers internally, how morale and strategic calculus shift. This section is going to be more extensive. Inside the system, first you have the production and deployment of long-range attack drones by Ukraine. For instance, the UJ-26 Bober is a Ukrainian long-range loitering munition kamikaze drone that reportedly has a range of 600-1000 km and has been used in attacks reaching Moscow region. You also have the Ukrainian efforts to push strikes into Russian infrastructure so that the system of defense, logistics, morale, and economics inside Russia is impacted. For example, in July 2025, Ukraine was reported to have launched strikes that triggered power outages in the Moscow region. Internally, the Russian air defense, early warning, command and control systems are under strain. They must detect, intercept swarms of drones, manage false alarms, redirect aviation, scramble interceptors, and deal with civilian panic, emergency services, repair crews. The internal wiring of Russian strategic depth is being shaken. From the interior life of the campaign, you also have the strategic messaging. By bringing drones close to Moscow, Ukraine signals that no area is off limits, affecting Russian public perception, internal morale, and decision-making. Inside Moscow, residents awake to blast waves, power cuts, closures of regional airports. For instance, there was a reported case where airports in the Moscow region were shut down after drone strikes. Internally, this forces Russian civil defense to adapt, emergency protocols to activate, and the system that houses strategic assets to reconsider vulnerabilities. You also have inside the interior of the infrastructures attacked, power substations, command posts, industrial hubs. For example, the strike on the refinery or processing plant near Orenburg, though outside Moscow, shows how the internal functioning of energy infrastructure is vulnerable to drone strike. Internally, this translates into cascading effects: fires, shutdowns, cut supplies, diverted resources, logistical disruption, restoration costs, psychological impact on workers and public. Inside the drone systems themselves, they rely on GPS/INS guidance, lower cost design, ability to evade or saturate defenses, easier to produce in numbers, human operators guiding deep strike. The internal architecture of the Ukrainian drone force is scaling. For example, the FB-1 long-reach drone is noted for being cheaper, effective at deep strike, and starting full-scale production, so the interior is complex: manufacture, logistics, command, infiltration, evasion, systems design, enemy countermeasures. On the Russian side, the interior of their defensive architecture is being tested. Radar, air defense, interceptor missiles, electronic warfare, threats to infrastructure inside what was once considered the safe rear zone. In short, the interior view reveals deep system change. The battlefield isn't just front lines. Inside Moscow region, the safe zone is dissolving. Russian internal systems are dealing with external Ukrainian strikes. Ukrainian internal systems are pushing deep, becoming more capable. Everything inside is shifting. Now onto performance. In this review context, performance means how effective the drone campaign has been in achieving its intended effects. According to reported data, Ukrainian drones have indeed penetrated deep into Russian territory, caused fires, caused power outages, disrupted airports, forced diversion of flights. For example, the strike on the Orenburg gas processing plant resulted in an emergency suspension of gas intake from Kazakhstan. For Moscow region, we have documented drone attacks causing damage, interruption of services. The performance metric: range, effect, surprise, cost-effectiveness. Many reports suggest the Ukrainian drones achieve good performance by being relatively low cost compared to traditional missiles, harder to intercept in numbers, and enabling asymmetric penetration of enemy lines. Moreover, performance includes strategic performance. From the Russian side, statements of 48 drones shot down. In the Sergeyev Posad incident highlight that the defense worked, but there was still penetration. Russian airports being shut down after 230 drone weekend shows that the performance of the Ukrainian campaign inflicted disruption even if limited in material damage. Also the psychological performance, affecting the Russian public, requiring reallocations of resources, raising cost of defense. So performance is strong from the adversary's perspective. Now let's talk safety features. In the traditional productive template, safety features refers to protections, compliance, safeguards. Here we flip it. From the Ukrainian drone campaign perspective, safety features include redundancy, low cost enabling expendability, ability to fly low to avoid radar, to use decoys or suppressors. From the Russian civilian/infrastructure side, safety features are things like air defense systems, early warning sirens, shelters, hardened infrastructure, redundant grids, protective protocols. Reports show that Russia's air defense force claimed to have intercepted dozens of drones overnight in one instance. Air defense forces shot down 45 Ukrainian drones overnight in multiple regions, so the safety net is active but under strain. From a broader perspective, safety also means collateral damage minimization. Both sides claim to avoid civilian casualties, but with drones penetrating urban/suburban zones, the risk is high. Russian officials said no casualties in some strikes, but local residents were affected by power cuts and panic. For example, one drone attack near Moscow's suburb injured a person and disrupted power. So in this review, we note that safety features on the attacking side Ukraine include relatively smaller explosive loads, greater precision, but on the defending side, safety features for civilians are compromised by the deep penetration of the strike zone. Now we move to unique selling points USPs. Again, in this metaphor, the USP of this campaign or of the drones themselves include deep reach, ability to strike far beyond front lines into Moscow region or Russian rear areas. That's a game changer. For example, the UJ-26 Bober drone providing range up to 600-1000 km. Cost effectiveness, drones are cheaper than traditional missiles, making swarms and repeated strikes viable. The FB-1 drone is estimated far cheaper than comparable systems. Strategic surprise/psychological impact, striking close to the enemy's capital or infrastructure that was once considered safe undermines morale and forces resource diversion. Saturation capability, by launching many drones, you overwhelm air defense and create disruption beyond direct damage e.g., forcing airport closures, flight diversions, power outages. Example 230 drones causing Moscow airport's shutdown. Diversion of resources, forcing Russia to shift air defense assets to homeland security away from front lines, temporarily reducing operations, increasing costs, raising vulnerability. Disruption of critical infrastructure, energy, power grids, refineries, airports. E.g., the Orenburg gas plant strike, symbolic value, making clear that no location is safe, which creates strategic ripple effects. These USP combine to deliver a campaign that redefines the threat horizon for Russia and demonstrates Ukraine's rising drone capabilities. Now we come to price. In a normal product review, price is the cost to the consumer. Here the cost is multifaceted: cost to Ukraine, cost to Russia, the cost to civilians, the cost of escalation. Let's examine these dimensions. From Ukraine's side, the production cost of these drones is lower than many alternative strike systems. For example, some sources estimate the FB-1 drone cost $55,000 per unit versus much higher for similar missiles. Therefore, Ukraine can launch many at lower cost, increasing sustainability. On the Russian side, the cost is high, launching air defense, interceptors, diverting resources, repairing infrastructure, and managing the public consequences. Civilians face costs in power outages, disrupted airports, fear. From the larger strategic price, escalating strikes inside Russia may provoke a heavier response, risks further escalation, drawing in more resources or even more direct confrontation. The price also includes diplomatic costs. It could complicate peace negotiations, raise tensions with third parties, and affect global perceptions. So while the unit price for Ukraine is low, the strategic cost may be high. In monetary terms, for Russia, a single incident might cost millions in lost productivity, flight cancellations, infrastructure repairs, diverted missions. For Ukraine, the low cost enables greater strike volume. We don't have full open data, but the contrast is clear. Now the conclusion. Summing up, what we've reviewed is a vivid, shifting battlefield dynamic where drones are redefining strategic reach, risk, and defense. From the exterior, we see Moscow region lights flashing, fires burning, power disruptions, airports closing. From the interior, we see Ukrainian drone systems improving, Russian defenses under pressure, infrastructure vulnerabilities exposed. Performance is notable successful strikes, disruption, psychological effect. Safety features are in tension for the attacker, many built-in advantages, for the defender serious strains. The USB highlight why this mode of warfare is rising. The price/val calculus shows that Ukraine may be punching above its weight with small units but exacting disproportionate cost on Russia. Ultimately, what this product, the drone campaign, offers is a paradigm shift. It's not just about front-line battles anymore, it's about far-reaching strikes home, front vulnerability, and the erosion of the zone of safety. For supporters of Ukraine, this is a demonstration of ingenuity and resilience. For Russia, this is a wake-up call. For analysts, it underscores that drones have matured into strategic weapons. For civilians in the Moscow region, this is a troubling signal. The war may now be closer to home. If you're watching this channel for military tech, conflict analysis, or drone warfare, this is an important moment to keep eyes on. The key takeaway: power and infrastructure once considered secure are now in play. Defense strategies that assume rear areas are safe must be revised. Attacks that once required costly cruise missiles can now be done with relatively low-cost drones in numbers. Thank you for watching. If you found this breakdown useful, please subscribe and like the video so the channel can grow. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think this means for future drone warfare, Russia's internal security, and the broader war's trajectory? I'll see you in the next video.